Hello, hi. Thank you, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny, and this is not my first time here. I first came to React Alicante in 2019, and it has become one of my favorite conferences to attend. And ever since 2019, I went to 2022, 2023, and now I'm speaking here for the first time in 2024. Last year was the first time that Stately, which is also a sponsor here at React Alicante, last year was the first time we got to bring our whole team here and even made a retreat out of it. And so we had a team offsite where they shoved me in the back of a van, as you can see up here. And then we got together, we all stayed in a villa in the east side of Alicante. We went hiking and did yoga with sunrise, during the sunrise. And then we even went to a local vineyard. They serve Montesanco wine. Have any of you tried that wine here? No, you have to, because it's from this region. But it was such a fantastic time. And I was able to plan that retreat using diagrams. And when I say diagrams, I mean all these different cool words up here, like graphs, charts, models, workflows. These are all different types of diagrams that can be super beneficial when you use them in your everyday life. So I work at Stately, and ever since I started working there, I see my life in different states, and I see diagrams everywhere in life. Diagrams matter because it's a really great way to think visually. And what I mean by that is when you're able to see an overall picture of all these thoughts in your mind, it can get really overwhelming. But when you put it pen to paper and you're able to put your thoughts somewhere and start organizing it, it becomes less stressful. And so with the use of these 3 diagrams, which I'm going to go over, I was able to plan a whole event and a whole offsite for a week's worth of activities for my team. The first one I'm going to talk about is ERDs. ERDs are entity relationship diagrams. It's basically where you collect a bunch of data and then you organize it, right? You put it somewhere that you can reference from and easily go through. For example, in this ERD, every single team member of mine has a unique ID, and that is what we refer to as a primary key within each entity. Each box that you see is its own entity, but to differentiate between different people, you have a primary key to reference from. And then to link that to different entities, we call those foreign keys. So for example, each food preference and each airline preference that all of my team members had to fly here to Alicante, I had to have a specific link to each member, or else I wouldn't really know who's flying from where or who has whatever dietary restriction. So this was very helpful to organize all of that going on in my head. If I didn't have a way to organize it, I wouldn't know who's allergic to lactose or fish or all of that. So it's very useful in this particular situation. If you want to map out an ERD like I did, I used dbdiagram.io to show you this example. Next, we have state machines. Eric Rasmussen already talked about state machines earlier today, so I'm just going to briefly go over my machine. Every process starts somewhere, so we have to start in an initial state where I'm idle and I haven't started planning yet. And once I'm starting the process, I transition into this planning state, and you can start at picking a location. I made the decision to have my team vote on a location, and they all wanted to go to React Alicante because they heard how awesome it was, and I hope you're all having a great time here because it's, again, one of my favorite places to be. After we picked a location, we were able to select dates. In the case that they decided to go to a conference instead of a specific city, React Alicante only happens in September. So September was the date that we decided, the budget was decided, and then once we finished that whole planning state, we're able to transition to the next one, which is starting to book everything. And so, this is how I planned the whole retreat. I just like went through each state at a time and I figured out which process I was in every time I checked back in, like, okay, I'm still in the planning state because we haven't decided on a budget, or we decided on the budget and all the activities, and now we're able to move into the booking state. And that leads me to sequence diagrams. With sequence diagrams, we're able to see how actors can communicate with one another. So I am an actor, this travel agent I'm working with to find me a venue is an actor, and then the host of the venue that we stayed at is an actor. We communicate with each other using messages, and you can see messages are just the arrows that go in between like the different actors. So in order for me to find the location around Alicante to book a venue, I contacted a travel agent saying, I want to stay in like the Alicante area, and they got back to me with, here are the available venues for the next couple of months. If you have a specific date, let us know. And then I told them September specifically, and they showed me, here's 3 options available. So once that travel agent is able to verify those dates and then the location with a host, then that host will contact them back, sending a message saying, okay, here's the confirmed dates, please give them my contact information. And from there on, once that travel agent transfers me all of the data from the host, I don't have to talk to the travel agent anymore. That lifeline of the travel agent is done for at least me right now, talking to them. So then I talk directly to the host, and we coordinate the booking details, we sign a contract, we send over the payment, and then we show up here. So the 3 benefits I see in using diagrams is that you're able to document every single thought that you have, right? It's like all in one place, and then you can start organizing it. It's so much easier when you have a place to put something down, like write pen to paper, or in this sense, just put it into a diagram, because then you have something to reference from. For example, when you're given a map, when you're not given a map, right, and then you get directions on where to go, you don't have like the full overall picture of like, okay, but where am I going? You're just giving me directions. What is the purpose of this? The diagrams help let you see the overall picture and the end goal of what you're going to accomplish. And this is not just with planning. This is with like the programs that you're building as well and the apps. When you get to see what the end goal is, and then you see what state you're in the process, it's easier to navigate through what actions to take next, or maybe if this didn't work, you can go back on the last state and then transition into something else and make more decisions as a team. And it's a really great way to collaborate with your team, because diagrams are shareable and they're easily readable. And so I think of them as a universal way to communicate with both technical and non-technical people. If you want to learn more about diagrams, I highly encourage you to read this book. It's called Stuck, Diagrams Help by Abby Covert. And she describes and emphasizes the way that you can think visually and be able to clarify all those thoughts and all those paths and be able to get your point across in a more efficient way. These are the tools that I use at Stately and in my personal life. So now that I see like everything in different states and my life is mapped out in a diagram, I love using these tools. ERDs, I use dbdiagram.io. Eraser.io and TLDraw is what we can use for sequence diagrams. Swimlanes.io is really great for that. State machines in particular, I use Stately. I'm a little biased because I work there, but it's so useful if you know about the XState, which is a JavaScript state management library. And if you don't, Stately has a visual way, as you can see from Eric's talk, they have a visual way to just map everything out visually, and then it'll just output the code for you. But I'm not here to tell you about Stately. I'm here to tell you that diagrams can be super useful in life. In any way that you decide to navigate life, diagrams can help you choose those different paths and map out your plan and your agenda for the day, and even help you talk to your coworkers in the sense of like, hey, I am so overwhelmed with all the things that I need to do. I feel like I'm working like a machine right now. But if you map out all the different tasks that you're responsible for and then start delegating, then you can have diagrams help you avoid burnout. So with that, you're not a machine. Eat a donut. And thank you so much.